Well, hello. My name is Liz.
And I am Scandal.
And we are here to do a reaction review to the book preview of The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis.
Yes.
So,
Which I read, actually. Me here, Scandal, I read this book.
yes. Did you read the whole thing or just the preview?
No, I just read the preview.
Okay. Well, because sometimes
Ah.
one of us gets super into a book and we read the whole thing after we do this.
Mm-hmm.
The read. But
It
anyway,
had our attention, basically.
I loved Scandal's read. Honestly, it was very fun. And it was also really fun to listen to because there was a brief piece of song and it was very, very pretty. So if you haven't heard it, even if you have read the book, I'm going to suggest you
I'm
go
very flattered you
check
like
it
my
out.
random singing bit.
I
I'm like,
did. I thought it was very fun. She tried to think of a song and she finally got one, and there it was.
And then
And it was very
I spewed
lovely.
it out. It was fine.
I thought it was pretty. Anyway, if you haven't read any of this book, then you might go and check out the preview first, just so you get a sense of what we're talking about. And if you have, and you have different opinions than we have, we'd love to hear them. So my first reaction to this was, I thought it was interesting how subtle of a high fantasy it was.
Mhm.
Like, it was very, very soft, of you're focused on one person's perspective in a very, very tiny venue, and it's like throws out tidbits of incredible amounts of magic
Right.
and incredible amounts of like functioning magic system and magical creatures really subtly, because it's completely overshadowed
Right.
by...
Well, okay, so I'm over here making a face because actually there was something else that I wanted to mention that it reminded me of. But one of the things that I actually thought of that Liza has been making a face at me about was, for me, while reading the book, I had a very strong sense of basically this might be. Okay, and I hate the fact that a lot of books basically get categorized into this, and this is an experience that happens, but this is also part of the world we live in, and sometimes that's what they are, and that's the discussion they're trying to have. This felt basically like a racial book or a segregation book, a book that's talking about basically the othering of people who are different. And in this book, you distinctly have people who don't have shadows and people who do have shadows.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, what they also had was they have the main characters is the main character, she's black, and then her sister is also black, as far as I know.
Yes.
So to me, it felt very much like it was trying to go into the topics of segregation and dehumanization and objectification and use of basically dehumanized people.
And I could totally see that. They did actually have indentured servants in there, and
Yep.
they actually did talk about how the people who had lost their shadows generations ago, that their
They're
offspring,
basically
their people still were just as indentured as they were before.
Yep.
And they were never really getting out of it. And even when they installed a newer system by the government, something different, which it basically helped the rich get richer,
Yep.
and it kept the poor,
Poor.
but it made it sound like it was getting better.
Which feels, again, like an interesting topical point for even right now. Our capitalistic society, in my opinion, really does strongly basically favor the rich.
And it
Now-
rang very strongly of that kind of feel of going, you've got a ton of people at the bottom of the barrel in this particular area that are all these individuals who are
being preyed upon.
who are essentially the ancestral
Descendants.
leftovers, the descendant leftovers of this, thing that happened in the past, where these people magically got their shadows taken away from them and were put into servitude. And while they're not straight out slaves, because there is that theoretical debt that they're trying to pay off,
Which
they are
was
essentially
a thing that actually happened a lot. This is again where I'm going, that debt thing. So we
Uh-huh.
actually had a conversation about this before we started. But like the debt thing really, to me, really still swings pretty hard into we are making a conversation piece again about basically that,
Separation
we got
of
rid
class.
of slavery. Oh boy, but it's still here.
Mhm.
We're still seeing the effects of it. The issues are still systemic. We
Mhm.
still have an inbred problem of people still other each other and still think of each other as less or expect certain things out of each other and literally won't let them advance. Now, the thing that I was making a face at you about was actually that, so very briefly for a while in this while I was actually reading it, I thought of, so there's a great series by Garth Nix.
Oh.
And I thought of Sabriel
It
with the
did.
thing with the wall, and there was just, because there was this scary like force over the wall or behind the wall, like it was just
In here,
It's
you
fascinating.
can sling it off to Sabriel, or you can go the direction of, if you want to, Game of Thrones, of going. She doesn't describe it as a wall separating their country.
No.
But it is a wall surrounding the town. There's a magical wall to keep the things of the wastes out.
right.
And it's right there. It's one of those high fantasy things that's thrown in very, very lightly, because the focus of this book in the beginning is the fact that she's been sold to a whorehouse.
Yeah,
And
when she was a child,
when
her
she was
and
a
her
young
sister.
child, and that she is going to have her first night actually working now that she's become of age. There's some interesting magic and stuff in here, and the author gets very close to what could be considered a rape scene, though it is just an assault scene, and then it ends, which is what sparks off the subject of the book itself. But that so warnings for that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have them obviously in the preview, and obviously I think we'll have them down underneath for the
there will
comments
be
on this one. But
yeah, as I say, there's that there. But as I say, the thing I liked a lot of it as far as just being able to suspend my disbelief and feeling like there was going to be a lot of world building. But I didn't like it because in the house you have two different sets of girls.
Right.
You have, your Daybreak girls and your Sundown girls, and the Daybreak girls are the ones that are not old enough yet to start working in this whorehouse, working, as the Sundown girls. And the Sundown girls, of course, live the quote glamorous life of a whore, but they don't call them that. They never use that word.
They just call them Sundown Girls.
Yeah, they just call them Sundown Girls, even though people come and they pay for them and they buy the sexual service. But the thing is like, you have this main character being introduced to on her 16th birthday, the idea that she's about to have her special night, her first experience being a Sundown Girl, and like, it frustrates me that she's never seen anything that goes on or has any idea of what goes on in the Sundown Girls experience. So like, she's been there for 6 years since she was like, no, or 7 years, like since she was like 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah, but very small.
And the thing was, and so had her sister. And somehow, even though the Daybreak girls do like the cooking and the cleaning, and they basically just do labor,
right,
there is somehow no knowledge of what the Sundown Girls actually do and how they feel about it and what happens. And yeah, sure, there's a level of we don't talk about it, but I'm like, she goes and sees her room,
and she's never seen
any of the Sundown Girls' rooms ever before.
Even though she was a part of the cleaning staff. Sorry, it is pretty funny.
And that's what I was going to say, is and her rooms upstairs, of the Daybreak Girls are filthy and unkempt, and the ones downstairs are beautiful and clean. I'm like, who the hell cleans them?
Right?
If they've never seen these rooms before, but they are the servant staff, who the hell cleans these rooms? And that's sort of where I lost it.
Yeah.
Where I went, okay, this might be a small detail, but if you're building the culture inside this house and you have your guys who magically control the girls to keep them in check, but through mind magic, and you have your retired lady who runs the house basically as a madam,
right,
and you have, your brags who are your guys who come by the service, right, and clearly then the girls do all the other labor. As far as we can tell, there's no one else there.
Right.
How do they never see these rooms if the Sundown Girls don't have to do any work at all?
There would still, I feel like for me, there would still be conversation. I don't know why I feel like there is. Probably because honestly, people talk and they look for connection anyway.
They really do.
And it really does seem like I don't know how much like the other Sundowner Girls, obviously since it's a preview, they really actually know each other or are really interested in talking to each other much about their own experiences. But to me, I'm still like, you would still end up talking to your old friends if you ever made friends.
Or, in her case, to your sibling. And she's like, I have for an entire year never talked to my younger sister about this.
Yep.
And I don't know. I also feel like this incredible amount of, you basically get this vague idea that you're going to have sex with men, but incredibly vague. And that...
Because it very much is very, I will say it's very heterosexual as far as I can tell.
So it seems like the Braggs are all men.
Yeah.
And the girls are definitely all girls in your biological sense of, of how we identify female-bodied individuals. It's not a book that addresses gender or sexuality at all in the preview.
As far as we can tell, yeah.
In the preview. It's just not there.
Yeah.
And so that was where I really had trouble with it, of going, it sounds like you're going to have a lot of cool stuff happen here. And I'm interested in, like, girl power. We're going to get out of the situation and go fight the odds against us, even with magical tattoos that identify us as what we are and where we belong, that we cannot cover up or hide, which is kind of a wild thing. And just from, like, the cover, it suggests kind of Wild West kind of thing. And it does suggest sort of like Dust Bowl experience, mining kind of as the primary source of income.
I liked, honestly, in some way that's frontiery. I have to admit, as a reader, I've never actually really enjoyed a lot of frontier sort of American West stuff. Yeah. To me, it feels way too romanticized, glamorized.
Okay.
Because so much is so unrealistic and
it's
so
the like,
sanitized.
Yeah, the sanitized, very sanitized.
Very, very, like, and so I kind of want to read the book, but I'm not really sure. So, Charlotte Nicole Davis, I did enjoy this. There were a couple of things that I had some issues with. Again, like, I don't know exactly. I think I'm pretty much right where it's definitely trying to make a segregation argument and have a discussion about, slavery and whatever else, like,
Yeah.
especially based off of all the stuff we've talked about. I
it
would be
did
curious to see where it goes.
Yeah, so it did seem more like it was going to be a, like, girls' survival and success and breaking out of the mold kind of story.
Right.
And it didn't code, even though it's written for teens, at all like it was going to be a romance love story. And if that was
Which
in
would be
there, I'd be
great.
wildly surprised. Because there was no foreshadowing of it at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us for this. My name is Liz.
And I am Scandal.
And we additionally, in addition to this channel where we have consistent book previews, 3 to 5 a week,
Yep.
and reviews, we also have a Let's Play channel, and we would be thrilled to see you over there as well. We are completely ridiculous and way less formal. And if you want to, you can check that out over in the sidebar. We feature ourselves on each of our channels.
Not quite.
Anyway.
We're very self-promoting.
We are! So take care of yourselves out there. Again, if you have thoughts, we'd love to hear them.
If you have books you want to recommend, like, comment, and subscribe. You can talk about them. If you've read this book before, please feel free to talk about it, but please don't spoil it for people who haven't read it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Enjoy your days, guys.
Bye.